Good morning, everybody. We'll just start shortly. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So here we do side CDSU. We are also doing USFDA and India.
Great.
And also now we're running a workshop on WHO as well.
Okay.
For people. Because from practically speaking, for many of our startups, just focusing on India is not good enough. The Indian market globally is about 1% world market. You'll never raise investments if you focus only on it.
Right. These sessions are very detailed. How many days do you take?
Oh yeah, right now, for example, the person who's doing it, he's doing it from the company, WHOPQ. No, the WHOPQ is with BFI, but currently we're doing one on SAMD. So Belsera, which is qualitative study field. Indian, 3 days per day. For example, he would be with SAMD, or software as a medical device. But they certainly run even certified internal auditors for CDS, right? So certified MedTech Mitra here. They're the ones who run it. So you can do clinical trials, have those here.
I think from FMC, I only get free by working.
Okay. Yeah. So just
Yeah.
Just you can call me in case I'm meeting tell him to.
Sure. I think I will definitely plan to come back. And now I spend comfortably. It's like touch and go.
And also just can give you an overview.
Yeah.
Also,
Things have changed quite a bit since I last came.
I've been working on it for some time now.
Can start.
Yeah.
So do I have a
Yeah, just
two, three slides on ICMR also because
Yeah.
many people don't know. what is our intramural, extramural.
Manish, I think you need to announce.
Yes, yes. Just checking. Okay. So good morning, everyone. I'm Manish Gore. I'm from the bioincubation team at Venture Center. So welcome to all the offline and online participants for this ICMR session by Dr. Suchita Markan.
Can you just check that everybody can hear you online?
So just share in the chat box if you can hear me clearly. Yeah, they can hear. So I'll just introduce Dr. Suchita Markan in just a few words to begin with the session. So Dr. Suchita Markan is a scientist staff and head Innovation and Translation Research Unit and mission in charge of Medical Device and Diagnostics Mission Secretariat, MDMS, at ICMR, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. She has over 18 plus years of experience in biomedical research, public policy, and innovations in the area of medical devices and diagnostics. And she's currently leading the national initiatives like MedTech Mitra and Medical Innovations Patent Mitra. She's a thought leader and has represented India, particularly from the medical devices and diagnostic point of view globally. Recognizing her contributions, she was selected as an emerging leader for biomedical innovation and entrepreneurship under Institute International Visitor Leadership Program by US Department of State and also been nominated for Leadership Exposure Program in Healthcare Innovation Management at Cornell University. She holds a PhD from PGIMR Chandigarh and also has completed executive training from IIM Lucknow and AIMS Jodhpur. She is also a registered technology transfer professional and has numerous patents and publications to her credit. With this introduction, I would request Dr. Suchita to begin with her talk on ICMR funding opportunities, medical innovations patent mitra, and MedTech Mitra initiatives for biomedical innovators.
Thank you, Manish, for the warm introduction and Dr. Premnath for welcoming me at the Venture Center. It's truly a pleasure to be here and be with all of you, the innovators. So without taking much time, I'll start with my presentation. Since ICMR has not been known very well in terms of how we have been providing the funding support to various innovators and how we are positioned, I have built 2-3 slides around ICMR and our funding opportunities, and then what is important for the innovators, much more important, the enabling platforms that we have created. I'll try to take you through them, and maybe we'll keep some time for Q&A. So we can start.
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, so ICMR is a leading biomedical research organization. You all are aware that we have been there to foster biomedical innovation in the country since 1911, more than 100 plus years of legacy. We have 28 institutes pan-India, and all of them specialize in various public health priorities, thematically aligned to foster research and innovation, product development, validation, surveillance in specific disease areas. Say, for example, we have institute for cholera, we have institute for doing studies in malaria, and likewise. Just to give you an idea on ICMR's research governance, we rest under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And people generally do not know that there are 2 departments under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. One is Department of Health and Family Welfare, the other one is Department of Health Research. The role of Department of Health and Family Welfare is more on policy and implementation, while the role of DHR and ICMR is more on fostering biomedical research and innovations. So they are both complementary to each other. ICMR earlier had a mixed kind of a funding approach, wherein the ICMR institutes may collaborate with the external institutes and put in proposals. But now, in few years back, intramural and extramural research arms have been very well separated. Now we have separate funding scheme for our own institutes and very different and more quantum of funding for extramural grantees, unlike other government organizations. And we have done that due diligence to see that the maximum funding which is available for fostering biomedical research, we are number 1 in the country when it comes to biomedical research, to be given to the external organizations, to extramural arm. Next. This is a very good picture I thought I'll share with you all, that how ICMR's funding has been evolving over last few years, 2017 onwards, that we budget we as government, we also have to pitch to the expenditure that this is the budget we need and what is the task that we will do. And that funding can increase money effectively and show results. So in every government setting, this also happens. So our work has been extraordinarily well, and we are progressing very well. Every year, you can see from the funding which comes to our pocket from 2017-18 to today into 2025-26 and next year onwards, we will have 4,000 crores of the funding. Wherein 18, you can see that the quantum of funding which goes to extramural research is almost double or 1.5 times of what we give to our own institutes. So that is the figure I wanted to show you all, that 1 hour research funding being given to us through the expenditures increasing every year. And second, the funding which we are giving to the extramural institutes. It's not only medical institutes, it is all engineering institute. Whosoever is working in the biomedical sector is, again, I wanted to bring to your knowledge that it's for all people working in the area of biomedical research. It's not only our institutes or medical colleges itself. Thanks. Coming to the funding opportunities that we have, the extramural funding opportunities. Now you all might be very well aware that these are 5-6 kind of fundings that we give. The small grant which we give every year, this happens. This is again changed a lot, wherein earlier expression of interest for extramural grant was there was no timelines and it would happen through different departments as well. Now things are absolutely digital through single portal. EPMS portal is there through which the grants are announced, and through only one portal the grants are announced. Review process is also digital. Now everything is digital. It is not person dependent. It is not, the grant evaluation process is completely software and system dependent. The small grant that we offer is up to 2 crores and it is for 3 years. This small grant can be utilized for technology development. The mandate which we have since from Ministry of Health, our key mandate is primarily public health. We have 12 priority areas defined on our website and it is also disclosed in our calls. Whatever we have to develop, which is alignment, which is able to advance the public health in the country. So that is our starting point and end point both. As far as intermediate grants are concerned, it is primarily for doing multicentric studies. We expect that when you apply for an intermediate grant, your technology would be ready. You would have generated some evidence, proof of concept is established, and you want a bigger chunk of money to do one-side study or multicentric studies. And in every kind of grant proposals that we receive, interdisciplinary research, having multiple institutes complementing each other, putting in proposals are definitely given priority over the applications which come from one institute alone. So that due diligence we do, like since you are also evaluating proposals, you would understand that ultimately we need to have results. So that's why we have to do that kind of a due diligence. We also give funding of up to 15 crores under a scheme called Center for Advanced Research. And my units work primarily, we work through CARS, Center for Advanced Research, because they are big ticket projects. And we try to identify centers which are technology producers and then centers which are technology validators. That is one kind of thing that we do. Apart from Center for Advanced Research, this is MDMS work, the way we work. But for ICMR, even developing an advanced technology, say for example, CAR T cell or something else, which is probably solving a very big unmet need and needs, and wherein you have an experienced research team which is proposed kind of advanced studies, we support those Center for Advanced Research as well. Then we are first in the world challenge, wherein we give funding of up to 8 crores and try to give accelerate technologies from end to end. The funding is given in tranches, wherein if you are at early stage, we give some funding. If you go to the next stage, we give some funding. So like that, it is a very systematic way. We have developed some kind of milestones for us to decide at what stage you are to be eligible for that funding amount. National Health Research Priority Projects are driven by ICMR. These are very, very big projects, completely aligned with the thematic areas of public health research. And these are very big ticket projects of 20 crore, 25 crores, up to 25 crores in 5 years. These are generally done through clinical study sites and mostly they are implementation research kind of projects. Next. This slide I wanted to tell you because the people often get confused. Although you will be interacting with us for MedTech Mitra and Patent Mitra through online portals, but since we are working, sitting together here, you can also get to know the back end of it, of how it works. For MedTech development, we have a separate unit, Medical Device and Diagnostics Mission Secretariat, and MDMS unit is leading the MedTech Mitra initiative, the coordination part of it. Although it's a whole of government approach, we have different partners to do their job, but there has to be some coordinator. Likewise, the Patent Mitra is being led by Innovation and Translational Research Unit, and the mandate of ITR unit is IP, tech transfer, and translational projects. We do a lot of ad hoc and fellowship projects as well, but prime mandate is IP and tech transfer. Next. This Dr. Premnath would know very well, and every innovator would know. The journey of innovation and product development seems very simple, looks like very easy, identify, invent, implement, starts from an unmet need. But you people know very well, associated with Venture Center, that journey is not that easy. Next. Next. We just see proof of concepts. Generally, when we talk to the innovators, they would often say that developing proof of concept is very easy. But taking the proof of concept to a commercial regulatory compliant product, which can be used by people at large, it's not that easy. And everything starts from funding. Once you get a funding, you develop proof of concept, then again next round of funding. And when we go to labs and talk to people, you will often see proof of concepts waiting to go to the next level. This was the genesis of why we thought that we should have initiatives like Medical Innovations, Patent Mitra, and MedTech Mitra. The MedTech Mitra initiative is primarily to provide hand-holding support for MedTech innovators for 3 key areas: clinical evaluation, regulatory facilitation, and uptake of new products. Back. You can remove the bridges.
Go back.
Thoda back.
Little bit.
Just stop it here. The basic genesis of why we started this initiative. One, we are trying, as ICMR, we are trying to provide hand-holding support to the area wherein we can really make a difference. We are not starting up with the startup innovation ecosystem. It has already been built. We have 1 lakh plus startups in the country. But what we are lacking, I mean, some of us have shown success, but it does not reflect the India story, which we really want to show to the world, that this is the India story of multiple unicorns in the healthcare sector as well, and lot of procurements happening and startups getting scaled is the real story or dream of every innovator. The people who have been associated, the leadership who are associated with this MedTech Mitra's vision are the people who have themselves been the innovators, and they know what is the challenges that innovators face. Therefore, the tagline itself is self-explanatory. We are there to provide you hand-holding support, take your hands and see how we can facilitate things. Dr. Premnath, you would be surprised that in ICMR, we are supposed to be only government giving funding. But I have set up a team in my office wherein we sit with the innovators, try to build regulatory capabilities in-house, because regulators can provide strategy, but implementation should happen on ground. So we are working with the innovators who do not have 3 lakh, 4 lakh to work with the consultants, and who do not have facilities like Venture Center has, having a regulatory team in-house. We look at their test license applications, and our team themselves help in filing applications, test license applications, and 50 plus such test licenses we have already facilitated in less than 2 years. So we are committed to show our report card to our higher ups every month or two to show our progress. And we have a limited team, and we are seeing how we can scale up, in the sense that we are able to respond much more in a much more efficient way. The way we are doing right now, we have the vision of making it much more efficient by having dedicated team of people and experts. And we are believing that every application that we receive, we will have an answer to that application. So that is the high level mandate which we have in mind from our higher ups. To this team, it may not be very not very important for us to show the values of death. So we can just go to the next stage. I can just tell you that the way we are trying to build beds, we have tried, it's a whole of government approach. We are trying to bring people who are already, the institutes are already having niche expertise in that area to do this job for you. So MedTech Mitra is a facilitator. We do have skin in the game. Some part ICMR will do, CDSU will do. But rest of the part we will facilitate through our partners. Next, we for pre-compliance gap analysis and testing, you know very well that we started with AMTZ, wherein the innovator should not struggle on getting testing done. So we onboarded AMTZ. We have set up one center for advanced research only for testing at AMTZ, wherein you can give them 100+ technologies to them for testing. To increase the speed, we are thinking to create a panel as well now, wherein we can increase the scope of testing, because this step is also taking much more time than expected. And you understand our problems. We need to have test license in place. We need to have technologies tested, because ICMR has to then recommend those technologies for validation at the sites.
Do you fund this? Do you fund the in
We
vitro
fund it
testing
fully funded.
for the ones that are
This is
selected
fully-
under this category?
Yes, we fully funded. So you
This
can
is-
come
this
to
is
us
like-
only for testing as well.
Just like you paid.
We pay to. We have already
You
set
don't
up.
fund startups.
Yes.
Yeah.
So beautiful thing is that we have, I'll maybe after this slide will tell you that there are two different kind of systems. So therefore there's some confusion as well. We have set up upfront some centers for advanced research with a mandate, which are like hubs. Open hubs, we can keep giving them technologies for doing the tasks. They have open-ended given us a ballpark figure that say 150 in 3 years, we will do 150 testings, 150 products we'll test. Like for Patent Mitra, you don't need to give any money. For facilitating testing available at AMTZ or their, say, the institutes placed in AMTZ, ICMR will be giving them money to do those testings for the startups. So this is how we will be able to bridge this gap. The funding is there, but will be given to the sites, but your work will be done. Next. For regulatory strategy, it is self-explanatory. CDSU sits with us, and we also onboarded AERB because we could see some technologies requiring their help. Next. For preclinical, clinical, this is our bread and butter of ICMR, that we have that strength in-house. Here, for example, giving the example of Cindy Colpo, we have, as I mentioned, the intent network is 80 sites. They have not been given any fund in advance. They do when a technology comes through MedTech Mitra and is given to an intent network, they will do an internal expression of interest. Those 80 sites will be invited to participate and show interest in those technologies. One, you have to go through the regulatory, the approval of the funders, and other committee to review. Then EOI happens within the intent sites, 80 sites. Once they are interested and motivated, they will take time to understand the technology. So relatively, it is a longer route, but since we have those sites in place, we have to utilize that machinery as well, which we have built. This also includes phase 1 trials. For therapeutics vaccines, it is very important. Intent network is much more relevant. For device diagnostics, we have set up Center for Advanced Research for validation at leading institutes across the country. AFMC is one of it, where I'll be visiting today. They are relatively fast because the funding is already earmarked for them. So these are the two ways we facilitate preclinical, clinical validation. For preclinical validation, we have ICMR-NARF, which is our leading institute, and they have been built for this purpose. So again, the credibility of preclinical studies through ICMR-NARF will add a lot of value to the technologies, and it's our institute, we give fund to NARF. Next. And the innovator who comes to us with a manufacturing license and requesting, needing to see how they can go for public procurement, we have an NHSRC also onboarded. They do state pilots. If appropriate evidence is not generated through pilots in real life settings, we also recommend those technologies to NHSRC. So NHSRC arm is also there with us. But sometimes when we recommend technologies to HTA, there are two things which they see. One is they want that you should have a manufacturing license. Second, they want you should have sufficient clinical evidence. So many of the technologies are recommended back to MedTech Mitra because sufficient clinical evidence is not generated. You would have manufacturing license, but sufficient clinical evidence for them to do a study is not there. Again, HTA is not done for a product. It is done for a class of products. So they have to see and understand the group of technologies in that area. So this is how there is some back and forth, but this is to make things work as per the requirements of the public health. And as I mentioned, the Department of Pharma has also joined hands with us, and we are trying to see how we can recommend technologies to PRIP so that the portion of how we can fund these startups can also be bridged. This is a very serious talk we are having with the PRIP scheme because they also have a scheme for clinical validation wherein they can fund the startups. So we are seeing how we can collaborate, wherein we fund the sites and they fund for same technologies, they fund the startups. So that is also going on. Let's see how things unfold. This is our report card wherein so far 670 innovators have talked to us in last less than 2 years. We started in December 2023 on the eve of Christmas. And we are yet to reach there. In 2 years, 670 innovators, we believe it's a big deal. And regulatory strategy, 500 plus innovators have been given very detailed regulatory strategy. It's pre-IND kind of a discussion. Test license, we are really proud of because it's our team's work. 54 test licenses we have been able to facilitate, 8 manufacturing license, 1 HTA study completed because there is a lot of back and forth. Clinical studies protocols have been 8 have been developed, and now the clinical study work is starting from the intent team as well, and multiple at the CAR centers. Next, so maybe we can skip some of these slides. You know, Atal Innovation Mission. Next, this I have already spoken.
Intent, this thing you can talk a little.
Yeah.
So, please go ahead.
Yeah. So intent basically, you can come to the intent.
Next slide. Next. Yeah.
Yeah. So intent is basically a network of clinical study sites. We started developing this network during the COVID times, wherein there was an urgency. We needed to have, and ICMR was expected to provide clinical evidence on technologies which are required from as medical countermeasures. So that was the time we built some clinical study sites and we built this network. But our secretaries thought that this is the key mandate of ICMR. So therefore, we should have a very strongly built network of clinical study sites across the country. So these sites have also been selected through a very rigorous process. They are best of the sites across the country. And they have been onboarded with ICMR. As such, they have not been given any funding. Once they select the technology, they are given funding for the with respect to the technology they select, the mandate which they select. And this is infinite kind of an arrangement that they from time to time on a continuous engagement, they will be given work and funding. So 80 sites, apart from 80 sites, we also have phase 1 clinical studies network, which is very, very new and unique. This has never been tried for people. And this network consists of 3-4 sites across the country. One center is at PGI Chandigarh, one is at ECTREC, one is at KEM. So 3-4 sites have been empowered and being trained to help do clinical study for therapeutics phase 1 studies. And the funding will be completely done by ICMR. So this is the network.
Are they also doing medical devices?
Yeah, some of them are also doing medical devices. The intent sites are doing medical devices. The phase 1 I'll have to explore because phase 1 is not very relevant for medical devices. Pilot
studies or safety studies, right?
Yeah.
Similar.
Right.
But one thing which we wanted to understand is this list of suppose startups approach a particular PI in a hospital which is listed in the intent network. Can the PI initiate a proposal for a clinical study?
No, actually it happens through, there is a clinical studies and trials unit at ICMR. They are the key custodians of this intent network. There is a system in place wherein first, this is a much more stronger commitment from ICMR side. So there is a due diligence which goes into process. There is a committee which will review your proposal, a detailed proposal will come, and the Cindy Colpo team has gone through that, and it will be evaluated by the committee, and clinical study protocol has to be drafted. So this happens through, it does not happen like that standalone. It happens to the CSTU ICMR team only.
So startups should approach CSTU or
MedTech Mitra.
MedTech
MedTech
Mitra.
Mitra is the starting point.
Okay.
Through
Okay.
MedTech Mitra, it is recommended either to Intent or to CARS, the Center for Advanced Research, depending upon how the committee feels is a more
MedTech
appropriate
Mitra provides support until HTA.
until HTA.
And each of these site is eligible to do HTA, but they have to go through the process.
No, these are not HTA sites. HTA
Okay.
network is separate.
Okay, that is.
So what MedTech Mitra is trying to do is try to bring everybody together. So that's their individual situation is already there. Their network still remains, but now they are aligned with one whole of government approach. One portal is there, which is trying to coordinate with all of them.
Because there is separate portal for HTA. Right?
HTA, there is a separate portal, but see, this should also not become a mandatory requirement for startups.
Correct.
So anywhere and everywhere, ultimately HTA will be done. For MedTech, if it goes through MedTech Mitra route, we will follow up. We will be answerable to you. If it goes through HTA, DHR will answer to you. But HTA technologies recommended by MedTech Mitra are taken on priority. That is for sure. By HTA team.
You also mentioned
Because there's
that
a lot of monitoring.
you also mentioned that investigator-initiated research projects.
Right, funding.
That a PI in a hospital in collaboration with a startup can apply, isn't
Yes,
it? Directly?
yes.
That is a possibility.
Definitely.
So suppose a startup finds a hospital which and a PI,
Yes.
they can together write a proposal for a clinical
Very
trial
well.
under
Small grant, intermediate grant, anything. You are eligible, but you have to understand, like sir mentioned, that how to get eligible. As of now, the funding which will be given to the innovators would be only for test batch preparation, because everything else has to be done by the site.
One of their limitations is that they can fund not-for-profits, right? So the not-for-profit here will be the hospital or the research center, and they do the studies, and the startup would be a beneficiary because the study is being done. But that's how it will work.
Yeah, we are, innovator facing, but MedTech Mitra is more innovator facing. The funding is more clinical sites, study side facing, wherein the site which is doing the clinical studies.
When you mention
It's our
preparation
mandate.
of test samples, so
Basically, you will have to provide the test, the product to be validated.
Correct.
That's how things will happen. That the site cannot produce.
So
So
for
we
example,
need
if there's a
somebody-
hospital which
Yeah.
needs, say, 1,000 pieces of a diagnostic test batch
Yeah.
production,
Right.
that site might fund it, right, with the startup to produce it so that the study can be done.
Yes.
Oh,
Absolutely
Right?
fine.
But it will be done through the hospital. It will not
Correct.
be directly to the
So
structure. right?
manpower hiring and everything will happen at the site of hospital. It will not primarily, it won't happen at your site. Your job would be only to provide, because it should happen at an arm's length.
are startups going to get money for the batch production? That is our
Yeah, so that will also happen through the site only.
site. Okay.
Yeah, but we have seen, we have done some, the guys here, she can also tell you. Sometimes we'll also do some different sanction orders we issue so that there is more clarity. We do some kind of separate budgeting. But once we form a Section 8 company, I think we'll be more in the startup facing as well.
Yeah.
Than-
And I think some of this has also been done through some of the centers which you have set up at IITs, right? They are car,
Yes.
they are the car sectors.
Yeah, they are COEs, they are center of-
COEs.
yes, and that
Yes.
is going to even scale up as we move forward.
So the COEs are saying.
Developing centers, yes. So thank you for bringing this on board. So what I am telling you today is just the story of MedTech Mitra, Patent Mitra and funding. The very important part of my story, which I didn't cover today, is we also support technology development. Like MDMS has funded, huge lot of funding has been given. We have set up centers of excellence at various IITs to support technology development. That was actually the source of pipeline creation. So that pipeline of what we are recommending to Center for Advanced Research for validation came through the startup ecosystem only, wherein we had given funds. We cannot give funds directly to startups, but lot of funding has gone to startups through IITs. Because IIT professors won't be doing themselves, they do through startups only. That is how things work. So that has been really successful, that in last 4 years, we have been able to support technology development of up to 50 technologies, which are now being spread across different centers, Center for Advanced Research for validation. And another scheme we are planning next year which will be a much bigger scheme to support technology development.
Maybe you can take
Yeah, I
time
think,
for just.
yeah, I
patent
think,
Mitra
I think
maybe,
we just 2 slides on patent Mitra. Next.
Yeah, that's.
Next. Mandate पे बस पर यहाँ रुक जाओ. The patent Mitra, basically, I wanted to share this good news that we started Medical Innovations Patent Mitra earlier only for ICMR intramural grantees and extramural grantees and medical colleges and institutes across the country, because they really have this unmet need. They are not as tech savvy, as innovation savvy as engineering institutes are, or leading institutes are in the country. So we thought we have to help the medical innovators, because that's our key mandate of ICMR as well. But now we have opened it up for all startups and all institution-led medical innovators. So that is the key purpose of me coming here, that the patent Mitra, many startups would come to us and say that we need this help. Now we have opened it up. And it's not only about patent filing, we also facilitate tech transfer. Patent filing we do for innovations, but for technology transfer, you will understand technology transfer is done for technologies. It is not for something in mind. So you need to have a technology which is developed and third-party validated. It should have been validated in-house. And somewhere, some other lab, we are not expecting a regulatory compliance study, third-party validations, but some other lab should also do validation of your technology and say that the results are replicable. The results which were obtained in your lab, same were obtained through third-party evaluation. So we really want to be very sure that the technology works when it is given to the industry. So that's why that requirement has been put in place. Next. I want to invite you all to be part of this journey of Patent Mitra. Next. From this picture, I just want to give you a key message is that believe in us. We are just people working to help you out with the patent evaluation and filing. We have the professional people working with you to do this job. We have a panel of attorneys, like every government agency does. 10 panel of attorneys, 10 leading attorneys are with us. I have made my own team in ICMR who is doing it, and they consist of patent agents and registered tech transfer professionals. Bunch of 300 plus people will be working with you, and you can see the kind of collaborators we have and the runway of Indian Patent Office, since they are strong collaborators to this initiative. So you can be
Will you be also
comfortable
funding,
with this crew in this.
funding PCT filings?
It's a work in progress. We have thought of it since we launched this in March 2025. It's a very new initiative. So we are just doing some piloting to see how it works. And we were not at all digital as far as patent filing was concerned in ICMR. In few months, we have made it absolutely digital. Everything is digital. Even invoice settlement is digital. It might be very easy for you, but was not very easy for ICMR, but it is now completely digital with the way we manage. Next. I don't know whether there are few slides to tell you how you can use the portal. You can quickly go through those slides. Once you register to this portal, you will find this patent facilitation and tech transfer facilitation arm of it. Next. The patent info, next. You need to submit the invention disclosure to be able to apply for patent filing. It's a very routine procedure that you follow for doing a patent evaluation and filing. Next. And of course, it is an innovator facing kind of a scheme, but we need to get some kind of authorization and approval from the institute as well. So we are requesting the innovator to take this kind of a small undertaking or an approval from whosoever is dealing with your IP in your institute. It can be a director or dean or any authorized representative. You need to upload it on the portal. Next. And after this is done, next. You can just submit the invention disclosure form. And this is all a very simple thing. The way you do for any patent filing, the similar has been done in the digital portal. Next. From the tech transfer perspective also, the similar tech transfer request form you'll see. Here you need to give relatively more information. You need to give us two informations. One, we are not transferring tech know-how. We believe in transferring technologies which are IP driven. So the two must-haves you must have to be eligible for tech transfer is one, you must have filed a patent application. Second, you should have data. Next, last, you should have data for third-party validation. You can see the funding details you need to tell us because tech transfer is relatively a more serious business. And we just don't want to get into somebody else's, way. So that's why this information we need to have. If you have not filed IP, we facilitate that. If your technology is not validated, the Patent Mitra and MedTech Mitra portal or cross-talk to each other. We also recommend technologies to MedTech Mitra for validation, for facilitating validation. So that's how they work hand in hand with each other. Innovators coming to Patent Mitra are also referred to MedTech Mitra and likewise. Next. So we can skip this. Once you use, you will be interested to hear from you. We keep on reaching out to places to create awareness. One beautiful thing I wanted to tell you is that in last 7-8 months, we have transferred 32 technologies. And we believe it's a big deal. It has never happened in the history of ICMR because of lot of groundwork which happened in the past. 4 years, we have been working on developing different policies, streamlining policies. Few days back, we transferred this technology and Priya Patel madam came and we transferred 11 technologies to different industry partners. Next. These are some of our beneficiaries. 60 plus patents we have filed and 32 tech transfers we have done. Next. This is the second last slide, wherein I just wanted to tell you that we have been doing a great job as far as Patent Mitra is concerned. It's more quantifiable in the journey of 8 months, wherein 66 patents we have filed and 32 deals we have facilitated in last 8 months. But the pre-launch efforts were much, much more bigger than the things we are doing right now. We were able to do this job very quickly because of the digitalization efforts we were doing for the last 1 year. We tried to build from scratch IP policy, tech transfer policy, entrepreneurship guidelines, fixing up the royalty figures and everything, which took us 4 years. And then launching this initiative, we were able to sail through. Next. You can see that such a great initiative, but just 130 applications. That's why we are traveling to now startup innovation hubs, because this initiative needs much more, pipeline than what it is seeing right now. And getting applications through medical colleges is not that easy. Maybe they do not have this much of innovations as well, which
We'll be
we
happy
see
to
roughly.
circulate these slides to medical colleges in our network.
Sure.
So there are quite a few.
Right.
Also, there are
People don't
doctors,
know, actually.
doctor innovators also.
Right.
So maybe we can
Yeah.
pass it on.
So you can be our knowledge partner in the sense. Let's create this pipeline
One
together.
thing for which a lot of entrepreneurs struggle is they don't know what is patentable, what is not. So IP strategy itself.
Right.
So do you
that's-
start from there or
Detailed
we should be
patentability-
there and
No,
you
we do
facilitate?
patentability assessment ourselves through paid databases. So that a piece of paper, a detailed prior art search report will come to you after. If it passes that test, then only we do patent filing. Unless we will not do. And we have been empowered to take that decision based on the patentability assessment. We don't have to take any approvals.
Understood.
And for tech transfer, of course, we have a committee. See, because it's relatively, I said, it's a relatively more serious business and we need to see things are in place. So these are the policies which were launched by the Honorable Minister. Next, this is the last slide. Just to build the perspective, the funding opportunities were always there. It's not that funding is not there. Not by ICMR, but all government agencies are giving a lot of funding. International grants are also available. What we have brought to your table is Patent Mitra and MedTech Mitra. We started MedTech Mitra early and then Patent Mitra. Why? Because for MedTech Mitra, we wanted to give handholding support to innovators, not to individual innovators. Once who have industry partners, then only they are able to understand how to develop a regulatory compliant product. So Patent Mitra comes before MedTech Mitra, wherein we help you in filing patent, help you engage with the industry. Then you become strong enough to get regulatory handholding support and regulatory compliance studies when it comes to MedTech Mitra. So they are complementary to each other. Last point I wanted to tell you is that the patent and tech transfer portion of the Patent Mitra are standalone. They are not fixed with each other. it is not compulsory for you to file patent through Patent Mitra, then only we will facilitate tech transfer. You can straight away come to us for tech transfer as well, standalone, or patent filing and no tech transfer. It is fine, perfectly fine. So innovators have to choose what is the kind of help they need from the government, and it fully funded by ICMR. You don't need to take anything or arrange anything as far as Indian patent filing is concerned. So that's all from my side, and we'll be happy to take if you have any questions. Although we had some questions, we have answered many of them. You can stop the.
You can unshare,
Yeah,
please,
unshare.
yeah. Well, first let's give a round of applause. You put it on gallery mode so that people, if they want to, they can, right? Let's take some questions online first, then. Okay.
So I see that there are not many questions, but in the interest of time, we can take 2 online and 2 offline.
Oh, no, I think let's take questions. It's fine. Questions are always important.
जाएंगे.
Acha.
Collect करते हैं. We'll collect it. We'll get it answered separately,
Yes.
but at least let's take, because she has to go to FMC.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
I can decide it.
So there is a question from Himanshu. He's asking how to identify centers which are either tech producers or tech validators according to ICMR. And there is a second question aligning to that from other participant.
How
How
do
does
they
IC
identify, or how do they?
How does the innovator identify
Identify.
which is a tech producer, tech developer or tech validator center according to ICMR? That is the first question. And aligning to that, there is another question. How does ICMR select preclinical testing centers?
Preclinical testing centers, the second one is more easy. The preclinical study centers are very few. We have our own institute, ICMR-NARF, which is capable of doing all kind of studies, be it small animal, large animal, horse, monkey, any kind of studies can be done at ICMR-NARF. It's our own ICMR institute, so we don't select one. We recommend technologies for preclinical validation to them. Few of them, we have also set up one center at AMTZ for preclinical studies, but our priority is always our own institute. And likewise, in ICMR Institute also, we have earmarked money for them, the funding, and it took us some time to streamline that system as well, wherein to expedite the preclinical evaluation at ICMR-NARF, things are now in place, and we generally get preclinical validation from them. As far as the technology development pathway is concerned, the technology development happens through different funding schemes of ICMR. This ICMR DHR COE is a very unique initiative, which is as of now catering to IIT and IIT-like institutes. And we keep on adding institutes to that portfolio, but as of now, we only have leading IITs in that network, wherein it came through CAPSEC approval and one-time grant was given to them. But these schemes are not very routine schemes of ICMR, wherein the routine extramural grant schemes is every year scheme. These kind of schemes we write as scientists. It is our vision under the guidance of the Secretary on what should be done in a structured way. So we write these proposals, defend them, and the COE is a very unique scheme. As of now, wherever we have set up centers, we can share with you in the form of a slide, and also share with you the contact details of the PIs working there. They are also very easily approachable, and we often recommend innovators to talk to them, and pipeline also keeps on creating.
So if somebody applies under MedTech Mitra and
Yes, sir.
select it, can the startup founder suggest that you have aims Delhi in your list,
Right.
say for ortho, this is the group that I would like to work with
Yeah.
for my trials. Would you consider that? Those
Yes,
kind of
yes.
things account there in your network.
Right. What happens is that we have tried to, I was not, since time is limited, we were not able to tell you that for every center we have some niche areas defined. Like we have a center at ECTREC also is one center. There we give only cancer related technologies. Shiltara is an institute for validation, cardiovascular and neuro devices. So likewise, we have some thematic areas aligned with various validation centers as well. So that we can share with you, and that's how we decide on
So I
which
think
technology is best suitable to
the
go to
question
this
that came
center.
from that founder, the context must be that, see, startups will develop their own technology. They might only be looking for somebody who is validating it. They may not be looking for somebody who is, say, co-developing that technology.
Right.
Right. So in which case they should know who are the centers for validation? So is there a list over there which is available that they can go and approach PIs over there and say they're interested in running a study?
That can actually make the duration of interaction shorter. The intent sites are available on our website. The Center for Advanced Research for Validation also, I'll see it's a good suggestion. We can put it on our website. Because this is an ongoing process. We keep on adding sites to the CAR centers network. We'll put it on our website and we can share with you.
Yeah, because there will be that difference. Some of them will want to co-develop, but some of them will want to just develop it on their own. They may not see a role for
clinical validation sites, we do not primarily see the role of co-development. Although co-development happens because innovative technologies are, if dealt at arm's length by the clinical study sites, may sometimes fail the test. So what is happening, this is again a good story to share with you. The clinical study sites are giving very good feedback and the innovators are further refining their technologies and coming back. So the validation through at least CAR centers, which I am leading, is a collaborative approach, wherein the feedback, which is the mandate, is to make them work and not to say that it did not work. Some time may be taken for the innovator to develop it further and make it ready for the public health. But the validation again happens through the same site.
Yeah.
At least 2 to 3 times we have told them, at least 2 times they have to study.
For one more question online.
Combining 2-3 questions which are talking on a similar lines. There is a question on, does ICMR perform performance evaluation? That is the first question. Aligning to that, they're asking what is the funding cap for clinical validation support? And the last question would be, maybe you can start answering this question. I can still frame the last.
The clinical validation support can also happen through the intermediate grant. As I mentioned, up to 8 crores is given if it goes through the extramural grant funding. For the funding which goes through the intent sites, it depends upon the proposal. The innovator builds a proposal and that proposal is reviewed. Funding is reviewed by the team, the technical advisory committee. As of now, we have been able to give funding of 1.5 to 2 crores also to do that kind of study at the site. But the proposal for this validation is built by the innovator along with the site once the site is allotted and presented to the committee. So that's how it works. And as of now, we have limited funds under intent. But as I mentioned that we have a lot of plans to upscale that funding on how intent performs. The intent, MDMS, MedTech Mitra, we are all startups. We also have to perform and show the performance to our higher ups to gain more funding to be given to these divisions to keep it rolling. As of now, the funding is on a case-to-case basis. There is nothing defined that up to this much money only we'll give. It is very flexible.
Can I just request Manish to compile all the questions, save the chat, right?
Yeah.
I request people to put it on the chat box. We will get the answers. We'll request
I'll come again
to address some of those questions. But on the meantime, maybe there are 2 questions here you can take. And just the last question.
Manish, if you can club similar questions.
We'll do that. We'll club it. We'll give you only one set of questions.
I'm sure 3-4 questions.
Similar, yeah.
Right.
There's a last question. Are there any interesting funding schemes that are planned for 2026? Is what are the questions? Planned funding schemes from the
planned fundings. You can see we are very much collaborating with the NRF, PRIP, everywhere we are trying to see how we can.
I think the ANRF one, ICMR is a partner. Yes. ANRF, ICMR and Gates Foundation. So that's one which they are participating in. But maybe PRIP also.
PRIP also.
Yeah. So PRIP from the Department of
surprised that the PRIP entire evaluation is being done very closely by ICMR. DOP and ICMR are doing it together because ultimately we have a lot of experience in grant management and governments help each other. It's primarily the government funding only. So that's happening in collaboration.
We can just quickly take 2 questions offline.
Brief questions, brief answers. Yeah. Any questions from here?
What stage the patentability startup should
you should follow us for Section 8 because once Section 8 is announced in next year, which we are expecting, I am telling you because we are almost there. Then we will have new schemes coming up through the Section 8.
Once you're ready, you can tell us.
Yes.
We'll publish.
Yeah.
And I think you can.
Because then
those
they
are
will be
technical
very much
questions.
industry oriented.
More about
Complete
ICMR
support is
programs would be
industry.
more helpful.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Any other?
What stage a startup should look for patentability? Is it a technology development stage or validation stage?
Early, because you might be aware that there is a provisional patent application. Once the key features of your invention are frozen, at proof of concept stage only you should file the patent, provisional patent application. Then do all the experiments and then you get 1 year time also to file complete. We should not wait for the validation to complete for patent filing. It should be done early on.
Final question.
I have an extension of this question actually. We are developing a technology platform. We are working on one particular application. There are several other applications, all of them in conceptual stage. But if we can develop them simultaneously, it can work out the value of the technology in several fold ways. So it would be of interest for us to have parallel developments that a startup cannot do. And this patent Mitra kind of situation help us in that. We don't have any data for that particular application.
Patent Mitra has the job of patent filing, evaluation and transfer. Nothing more than that.
The scheme and any one of these schemes.
No, you can see we are getting to the entire country. We have a very set mandate and that is also too big a mandate.
I
We're not
think
getting
as a
into that.
general rule, ICMR will probably come in little
Tier
later.
4 and
The early development has to be funded by the Ministry of Science and
Indeed.
Technology and related arms.
right.
And then following that, they
Tier
can take it
and
again.
above, as sir mentioned, is the area wherein our business starts. So TRL 4 and above, proof of concept done. And earlier we were more into basic research, but now regulatory compliant studies is what we are focusing on through these innovation related initiatives. So
How does
we'll
the-
be happy to engage from that stage onwards.
There's the sharing of earnings and profits happens in this kind of a situation. Like a large
We don't
majority of the
take
work will
stakes.
be done by the ICM.
Yeah.
arms.
Right.
So how does the whole thing get shared?
On the
From the
validation,
startup.
yeah, we have very fixed rules. We have, the policies are very well defined. We don't take any stakes in the IP, that's very clear. When validation is concerned, industry engagement is concerned. We have for validation, we take 1% royalty. And that 1% is also shared with the site. So 50-50 we share. And for technology transfer, if it is through ICMR funding support only, then we don't take any upfront, we take only 2% royalty. Comes back to the ICMR system. But if it is not supported through ICMR, intramural, extramural research, we'll take nothing at all. No stakes in the IP, no royalty. It's just facilitation.
Okay, I think on that note, we should close. Yeah.
So thank you to all the in-person and online participants for joining this session. Thanks a lot to Dr. Suchita Markan and Nida for joining here in spite of your busy schedule. So thank you very much, and we can.
We'll collect all the questions
questions
and
and send to you.
answer. So please feel free to
Yeah,
type them on the chat box.
Let's share it with. Yes.
Very fantastic schema and it should complement it.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause again. Let's give me that. Manish,
Yeah.
tag in the back.
Yes, yes.
We can also do
Chinmay.
a picture, that is always
Yeah, please.
standard protocol. This time we are not taking in the green lawns.
We can do it downstairs also.
Yeah.
No problems.
Be
Come.
nice.
Manish, yeah.
Maybe as we
Manish,
leave,
वहाँ पे. Yeah.
That's good.
that is typical of NCL. Venture
We have to make the most of our.
No, I think I'll come back as well.
Yeah, we will. If we are conducting
demands for rare blood group.
Okay, that's good.
Because of that.
Can you please join us downstairs and take a picture?
They've already collaborated with.
I know they're doing very well.
So I've been working with since 2020 now.
Oh, great. Great. Yeah, I met you. Manisha ma'am also work
Yeah.
very closely with her.
Ghosh sir retired, but I started working when he was there. Ghosh. अच्छा.
Funding, sir, Kevin, stand up again.
Yeah, that is the problem. Clinical studies are hard fix or number.
I will share the email ID with.
Yeah, very short.
I can put downstairs. And she has to leave for agency.
Yeah,
Okay, if the meeting goes, sir.
right. I'll come back because I think we'll hopefully if we get free from there.
And I'm just going to take this home. Where is the AC card input? There.
Oh, my. वो सोलर जगह बैठा है ना जगह गिरी सर शिव सर और कोई नहीं शाहरुख ने जी खाओ खाओ
आ रही हूँ अभी पूछा मैंने जैसिका से
पता नहीं था एंकर कर रहा था सेशन
अरे लोग कोई खाता है वो सर चिल्लाता है बाहर
तो गार्डन भी है तो उसमें हमारी क्यों रहती है कि ऊंचाई नहीं है